This is a stimulus update and daily news report, and there are major changes going on right now. Looks like President Biden might buckle under pressure and lower the price tag of the $3.5 trillion package. Senator Joe Manchin is calling for it to wait until 2022 to take any action on it, while some Democrats are saying we're probably not going to hit that September 27th deadline. We'll go over these articles right here. Stimulus update. Treasury issues 6-month progress report largely showing positive economic impact, and fourth stimulus check for seniors, a must despite Social Security bump. We'll talk about the debt ceiling and if the U.S. defaults, how there could be cuts to Medicaid, school lunches, and disaster relief programs. I'll play the latest video clip from Bernie Sanders, then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Hope you're having a more than mundane Monday. If you appreciate these fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers. I'll talk more about that later on in the video, but first, let's get into the important stuff. Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary, urges Congress to act quickly on debt ceiling or risk economic catastrophe. She's been making this warning for weeks and months, giving a bunch of deadlines saying something needs to happen. The next deadline is mid-October. If nothing happens by then it could spell catastrophe. Now, we've been hearing catastrophe and a lot of bad things, but what does it actually mean? So the White House warns of potential big cuts to Medicaid, school lunch, and disaster relief programs if the U.S. government defaults on its debt. Basically, the U.S. has a giant credit card of $26 trillion and they want to raise it higher to, let's say, $27 trillion. This way they could put more debt on that big credit card. I'm giving an analogy. That's not how it actually works, but basically we're going to have to owe a bunch of countries money. So when we hear that there could be serious economic consequences, the White House gives some actual information here. So basically, disaster relief efforts would be cut, Medicaid and children's health insurance program would be cut, infrastructure funding, education, public health, child nutrition, so the school lunch, which feeds over 30 million children, that would be cut. So basically a lot of government programs would be cut if the U.S. defaults on its debt. It's never happened before in history. It might happen. We'll see what happens here. Let me know your thoughts on this. Now, when it comes to getting something done, Nancy Pelosi calls raising the debt ceiling a bipartisan responsibility, basically saying Democrats and Republicans need to work together on this. So far, Republicans have been silent and saying that they do not support raising the debt ceiling. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, grocery gains. So food prices are soaring with little relief in sight. It seems that the prices just keep going up and up in the grocery store. Inflation, although they say it's transitory, it's just not leaving. We just keep having crazy inflation prices. So consumer price index, these are the months right here. I'll go over them really quick. So 2.6% in March, 4.2% in April, 5% in May, 5.4% in June, July 5.4%, and August 5.3%. So these are still really high. Now, grocery stores are not just trying to make extra money off of people in this situation. They have high cost and they're passing that cost onto the consumer. So in terms of supply chain, trying to get food factories and warehouses, those are costing more. There's a shortage of truck drivers, so they're paying more for delivery, so that makes the food cost a lot more. So some serious problems there. Next, let's talk about some relief, potential relief that could help out with this situation. Stimulus update. Treasury issues 6-month progress report largely showing positive economic impact. So there's been a lot of reports coming out, and one of them is this one from the Treasury saying that things have been good, that stimulus has shown to give a positive economic impact. So if it's showing a positive economic impact, why not have more stimulus? That's basically what this article is saying, that there was good consequences from it, so why not give more? When it comes to a fourth stimulus check for seniors, a must despite Social Security bump, group says. So this is that $1,400 for senior citizens who are collecting Social Security. This is sponsored by the nonpartisan Senior Citizens League. And says that while Social Security is poised for a big bump next year in terms of the COLA, the costing of living adjustment, it won't be nearly enough to keep food on the table. So that's why they're calling for tax-free cash of $1,400 checks. There's a petition going on right now. When it comes to the progress of that $1,400 stimulus check petition, we don't know because they are not sharing how many people have signed up so far. But their plan is that once they get a lot of people signing up for that $1,400 stimulus check, then they're going to lobby to Congress. They're going to go to Congress and say, hey, we need more $1,400 tax-free stimulus checks going out to senior citizens on Social Security, and hopefully they could get it into that $3.5 trillion package. It's not definite at the moment. Speaking of that $3.5 trillion package, building back Biden will make leadership buckle on spending bill price tag, Democrats say. So that price tag may not be $3.5 trillion anymore. So what it's saying here, what White House officials are saying is, I think everyone recognizes that maybe the number comes down a bit, but at the end of the day, progressives, the White House, and moderates all know that we've got to head into 2022 with some tangible voters on top of getting us out of the pandemic. So what they're referring to here is if we lower the price tag, the $3.5 trillion a little bit, then we'll go into 2022 with voters. So they want to get something done so that they can have voters for the primaries coming in 2022. And also, they're saying, second priority, getting us out of the pandemic. So let me know your thoughts on this. Is it about getting voters? Is it about getting the pandemic? What do you think they care about most? Let me know your thoughts on that. So they might have to budge on the price a little bit, especially because of people like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema not budging. So not only is the price tag going to go down, but it looks like Joe Manchin suggests pausing on $3.5 trillion package until 2022. So we heard before that he wanted a strategic pause, but we didn't hear it until 2022. So it looks like until 2022 is when Joe Manchin wants to finally take it up. Now, a lot of Democrats want to get it done right away. Nancy Pelosi made a September 27th deadline, and Steny Hoyer, who is the House Majority Leader who sets up those votes, said, yes, September 27th, we're having that vote. But Jim Clyburn and Yarmouth say Congress might miss September 27th infrastructure deadline, meaning that probably not going to happen September 27th, as if you've ever watched any of these videos in the past, if you've been watching for a while, deadlines almost mean nothing to Congress. If you think about it, they're getting their $174,000 a year, they're getting plenty of months of vacation, whether or not things pass. The main thing they care about is a paycheck and whether they're going to stay in office. So whether it happens September 27th or not, I don't think there's enough of an incentive for them to try to get it done. If they have votes, if they have an election coming up, then they probably would have gotten it done right away. So what they're saying here is what Jim Clyburn is saying. That's why we have so much work going on now. Our leadership is on this. We are working with everybody in all corners of our party. They're trying to get to a common ground on all these issues, and now a few are very comfortable that we are going to get there. The question is, are we going to work to get our goal for September 27th? Yes, we are going to work hard to reach that goal, and sometimes you have to kind of stop the clock to get to the goal. We'll do what's necessary to get there. So he's saying yes, Yarmouth, not so much. What Yarmouth, another Democrat from the House from Kentucky, said, I would say we're probably going to slip past September 27th date. Sometime into early October would be my best guess. So, I don't know. Well, let me know your thoughts. Is anything going to happen September 27th? That's only 7 days away. Today's the 20th, so 7 days away for something to actually happen. Now, when it comes to the Congressional Progressive Caucus, so Congressional Progressive Caucus prepares to block infrastructure bill if reconciliation bill budget fails, right? So they want to have that big vote for the bipartisan infrastructure package, but the progressives are saying we're not going to vote for that bipartisan infrastructure bill unless they have the reconciliation bill. And if one fails, then the other fails. Basically, everyone's holding everything hostage until they get their own way, which is just basically a recipe for disaster. We're kind of looking at a train wreck happening in slow motion, very slow motion. Next, let's talk about Bernie Sanders. So Bernie Sanders said this tweet: the overwhelming majority of Americans want their government to finally stand up for them. not for the drug companies, not for health insurance companies, not for fossil fuel industry. This is what we are trying to do. It's an enormous fight. We're going to win it. So here's the latest video clip from Bernie Sanders.
Whether or not that can be done is still going to be decided. I know you say you want it done, but isn't this exactly the same kind of social policy that moderates are balking at here?
Well,
because
actually,
you're tucking it into a mechanism that even
Margaret,
you have said in the past should
truth,
just be used for budget and spending.
Well, the truth is that because we have no Republican support in trying to pass a significant piece of legislation representing working families, we have to do it through the so-called reconciliation process, which means that you have to obey the Byrd rules. I won't go into bore you with all the details. So it's something that we are arguing right now. But I do hope, as we move toward what I believe is the most consequential piece of legislation for the working class of this country, as we demand that the wealthiest people and large corporations start paying their fair share of taxes, as we lower the cost of prescription drugs, as we expand Medicare to include dental care for seniors and hearing aids and eyeglasses, as we lower the childhood poverty, as we have already done, maintain that by 50% as a result of the American Rescue Plan. I hope that immigration reform is part of that general package.
But don't all these very worthy causes you're laying out deserve their own debate and consideration? You in the past have said that this is not how
Margaret, right now we have no Republican support. Zero. There's not one Republican who is prepared to stand up to the drug companies and lower the cost of prescription drugs.
And you may not have full Democratic support
either. Not one Republican
either.
who wants to build affordable housing. We can't do it without the reconciliation package. So right now what we are doing, and let's be clear, and I want the American people to understand it, we're taking on the pharmaceutical industry who are spending millions and millions of dollars trying to make sure they can charge us 10 times more than the people of other countries for drugs. We're taking on the healthcare industry, does not want to expand Medicare. We're taking on the fossil fuel industry, who thinks it's okay to continue emitting carbon while destroying the planet. So this is really a monumental struggle.
I understand it's monumental, and it's a struggle within your own party, to be frank, because Senator Manchin just met this week with President Biden. He continues to say the number you're asking for is too big, it's too much. Will you meet with the president this week, and do you plan to give anything here to get closer to the numbers that the moderates in your own party say need to be met?
Well, let me tell you this. We have started off, as you know, with, I would guess, 80% of the Democratic caucus supporting a $6 trillion bill. Remember, this is over 10 years. Per year, it's less than we spend on the military. Now, maybe you can tell me, or somebody else can tell me, how much we should spend to save the planet. Because what the scientists are telling us is that if we don't get a handle on climate change within the next few years, there will be irreparable damage. And you know what? I got 4 kids and 7 grandchildren. And I think we have a moral responsibility to leave them a planet that is healthy and is habitable.
Are you sure
we are
that
working right now? We got 50 votes. We're going to have to work it out as we did with the American Rescue Plan. But I have already made, and my colleagues have made, a major compromise going from $6 trillion down to $3.5 trillion.
So am I hearing you correctly when you say you are not willing to move on that $3.5 trillion number, even if the president asks you to do it? I mean, are you risking losing everything?
Look, right now what we are doing is we are engaging with the House and the Senate. It is a complicated proposal. All I am telling you is that $3.5 trillion is much too low. A compromise has already been made, an agreement has been made. And the American people, by the way, poll after poll after poll, are telling us now is the time to stand up to powerful special interests. Now is the time to start representing working families on all of these issues. They are enormously powerful. And maybe, just maybe, we can work for workers for a change and not just wealthy campaign contributors.
You keep saying the number of 50 votes, but it is well reported that Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema are not with you on this within the Democratic Party. Are you certain that President Biden will get them all in line?
Well, we went through this with the American Rescue Plan. We dealt with this with the American Rescue Plan, which, as you know, is the most significant piece of legislation to take us out of the economic decline. And it cut childhood poverty by 50%. It provided unemployment benefits. It It did what had to be done to get us out of the emergency. We came together, and
Right.
I expect because of the pressure of the American people, we're going to come together again and do what has to be done.
Will you meet with President Biden this week, just like Senator Manchin did last?
I'm happy to meet with the president anytime, but at the end of the day, I think what
So no.
the overwhelming majority of the American people want us to do is finally stand up for them, not just the drug companies and the healthcare industry and the fossil fuel industry. This is what
Right.
we are trying to do. It's an enormous fight. We're going to win it.
It's an enormous fight, and we will track it. Thank you very much, Senator Sanders.
Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Thaddeus Walton says, so how can I get the $200, Brother Wise? You didn't say how to acquire the money. So I have this down in the description below this video, if you click the show more button, you'll be able to see the exact instructions of how I'm going to give out $200 to my subscribers. So basically, the way it works is you have to be subscribed to this channel, my other 2 channels, and then comment the word grateful on a link down in the description below to that channel, and then I'm going to pick the winners at random on September 27th. So Teresa Pratt says, and I know for a fact that our states still have funding left, yet they are cutting people off. Where is the money going? Their vacations? Yeah, so a lot of states still have a lot of money to spend, and they have to spend it. So the way it works is when they get that stimulus funding, they have to spend it by a certain time on certain programs, otherwise they lose it. So it can't go towards their vacations, but I know that's what it seems like. Eric Spear, why is my number 3 stimulus check still being processed? They aren't sharing the crayons nicely in preschool. WTF. I'm sorry that you didn't get your 3rd stimulus check yet. Unfortunately, if you haven't gotten it yet, I haven't seen the IRS saying that they're still sending out 3rd stimulus checks. You're probably going to have to wait until 2022, file a small tax return, and claim the rebate recovery credit. Unfortunately, they are not sharing those crayons nicely. Sharella Holmes, why is the states not forced to distribute the funds that was given to them to give to us as Americans? Yeah, so when it comes to that rental assistance, there is a clause in there that says that if the states do not distribute those funds, the $46 billion in rental assistance money, then they actually lose that money. So I'm not sure if this was a plan to like kind of let the clock run out so they could use that money for other things, but yeah, it's kind of crazy how they're not distributing the money. The money is there, they're just not giving it out to the people. Anyways, that is all the stimulus news I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you one thing that you should do. When you want to do something, you have the power to do whatever you want. Unless, one thing, you believe in yourself. That's the only trick. So that's all I wanted to tell you for today. Bye. This is the Bella.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your support. Back at home, back in the office. Hopefully things were good with you over the weekend. Got to see some family, got to relax a little bit. We're always on the go during the week, a lot of kids' activities, school programs, this and that. But yeah, so it was good to just kind of relax with some family. Anyways, if you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click up here for my other channels or down here for more stimulus updates. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.